The Eagles still had this game in hand. They missed a field goal late to go up. They could have gone up 5. It was 14-12. They miss a field goal, but the Eagles still have the ball, right? They still have the ball, have an opportunity to run out the clock. And even if they don't run out the clock, they're going to punt and play defense and say, okay, Zach Wilson, come, beat us on a game-winning drive here. And Jalen Hurts throws a horrendous interception, really bad interception late in the fourth quarter, gives the Jets the ball in the tight red zone. Breece Hall scores on the very next play. I believe the Eagles probably tried to let him score. They were calculating the difference between we're going to be down 6 with 2 timeouts and about 2 minutes left, or the Jets, if they run out the clock, we call our 2 timeouts, they kick a field goal, we're going for a game-winning field goal with maybe a minute left, no timeouts. So the Eagles are calculating that on the fly, probably let the Jets score. Either way, it looked bad. I mean, after the Hurts interception, the Jets are in control of this game, and they win it 24-14.
Yeah, no, I think they did let him. Lane Johnson gets rolled up on, goes out of the game. Jack Driscoll comes in at right tackle. Worst possible team I think that could have happened against, the Jets and their pass rush, and Jack Driscoll was a problem. He's had those games before. Like, Lane Johnson's been reasonably injury prone as a right tackle. When Jack Driscoll comes in, it's like, okay, he can do it, but it's a huge downgrade for them. So that certainly didn't help. Driscoll gave up a ton of pressure in the game. The Jets defense, it's nasty. I mean, it's really, really good. And they're doing this without Sauce Gardner at the moment. Like, that's a really good unit.
Yeah, both Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed were out, and the Jets still hung tough. Look, I don't know what to make of the Eagles' offense this year. The word just lethargic keeps coming to mind, and I don't know if it's because they run a rugby formation every few plays. That kind of slows things down. I don't know if that's part of it. But the big plays were still, like, they still had A.J. Brown on some big plays and everything, but Hurts makes a couple. They weren't all his fault. He had 3 interceptions. One was absolutely not his fault. He throws a little screen to Dallas Goedert. Ball gets tipped up right to Quinnen Williams. That's an interception. There was a lot of those plays where the official scoring on the play was going to make the passing line completely different. Like, if they called that a fumble, it's a fumble. It's not an interception for Jalen Hurts. They called it an interception. They said it was, incomplete, basically. Just like the Cousins thing. They call it a fumble. They call it an interception. So Hurts ends up with 3 interceptions. Another one, he gets hit in the throwing motion, gets popped up. And
that was
then the
a
last
bad
one,
play, though, by him.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like, there were just some weird plays that end up, like, the Jets defense was causing havoc, basically. And then the last one was just a horrendous misread by Hurts.
Yeah. There's just mistakes in this offense. I mean, he had a big Devontae Smith drop, who had a lot of space early, gets sacked almost immediately after. That's the drive dead. Like, they're making more mistakes than they have, I think, last season. And what was weird is they hadn't really been getting punished for it yet. I think they had in this game, but up until this game, they hadn't allowed a point off a turnover. Like, this season, they've had a few of them, and they'd always gotten away with it, essentially, and not actually cost them anything. But they've been making those kinds of mistakes, and I thought Zach Wilson played quite well in this game.
Yeah, looked a little bit, and he was. Look, when the grades come out, the Jets' offensive line's not going to look very good, and this is what. I mean, I don't remember. Did I actually pick the Jets? I don't know if that was a typo. I did pick the Jets officially. I don't remember doing it, but I did pick it. And, yeah, I mean, if most quarterbacks are facing that level of pressure and from this Eagles front, it's not going to look great. And the stat line wasn't great for Wilson, but you liked what you saw.
I thought he played a lot better than we've seen from him. There was some decent plays. There was some bad plays in there as well. Like, there are some interesting plays where you see the difference between, like, really high-level quarterbacks and guys that have some ability, but there's something missing. There was like a play-action naked bootleg out to the left, and Hassan Reddick was the unblocked defender, right? And there's some quarterbacks that just can't deal with moving to their non-throwing side, right? Because you're turned the wrong way. You're essentially running the opposite direction of how your feet are supposed to be to throw the ball somewhere. So when they get to this spot and they're like, oh, crap, there's an unblocked defender here, they get kind of paralyzed with what they're supposed to do with their feet. And so Wilson did this, read Reddick out there, and then kind of tried to like bounce his feet back, set them sort of turn, and then realized that wasn't going to work either. And just almost like got caught between 3 or 4 different things in his head and ended up just doing nothing and getting sacked. And it's like, Mahomes would find a way of doing something. Right now, Mahomes is obviously an outlier, but other quarterbacks would figure out some way of just like getting rid of the ball. Okay, your feet are not going to be underneath you where they need to be, but you're going to need to figure something out and just get it out of your hands, because the alternative is the dude's going to sack you. And guys like Wilson just can't find that at the moment.
But the standards are a little bit lower, so when he plays a solid game like this,
I mean, this was
that might be all the Jets need, right? I mean, like, you're not going to win a lot by. They scored 12 points. They did get the 2-point conversion. They scored 12 points, were handed basically another touchdown. But you're not going to win a ton of games only scoring that much.
Yeah, but this is the game. So, it was like tensions are getting higher with the Jets because Wilson has been so bad. The defense feels that they basically need to score in order to win a game. This was the game, though, where you're like, okay, it's not good, but this can win. Like, their defense is so good, particularly when they get DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner back, that if Wilson can do this, which is literally the lowest bar of game manager, right? Simply do not cost the game by doing anything absurdly dumb.
And feed Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, and get a couple of plays here or there, right? That's enough. And it was. Like, they got just enough for this thing to keep functioning, for them to rack up a couple of plays, for Garrett Wilson to take the ball away from somebody down the sideline. Like, just enough that they got a few points and the defense didn't need to do it all by themselves, right?
Yeah.
That can win. And really, you look at them now, and the Jets are, 500? I'm now rooting for them to be alive come Week 17. I now want to see if Rodgers can achieve this like medical miracle and come back from an Achilles for playoff time.
He was throwing the football.
I saw that.
Now, there's no context there. Do people usually throw the football? Do they still move around a little bit 6 weeks after surgery? What's the context, Doc?
I mean, I saw somebody say...
Because these videos go viral. Look at Aaron Rodgers throwing it. He just had surgery 5-6 weeks ago. He's throwing the football. It's like, is that expected?
Right. I saw somebody saying, like, this is not normal. Now, the person saying it was a beat reporter who I'm almost 100% certain has no idea whatsoever whether it's normal or not.
I don't trust a beat reporter telling me what a drop is. Never mind what the Achilles recovery timeline should be.
Like, he's literally sort of gingerly standing there throwing the ball. I mean, I don't know if you should expect that or not after, 5 weeks, 6 weeks from an Achilles injury.
A lot of strange plays in this game. By the way, if you look at, my mind's all over the place. Zach Wilson's last 3 grades in the green. Greenish.
In the greenish.
I'm saying since, the Chiefs game was his best one. 3 quarters of really good play and a drop snap, but 3 quarters of really good play. Last week was okay. This week was okay. It's not the first 3 weeks, which was who are the Jets calling? Who are they trading for? That's what we were saying after 3 weeks. If you just look at the last 3 weeks, it's reasonable. Slightly bigger than baby steps. Other strange play in this game was the very first touchdown for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, 4th and 3, to cap off a Service Academy-like 19-play, 91-yard drive that took almost 10 minutes.
Beautiful.
Jalen Hurts runs a QB draw, looks way short of the end zone. The ball's flying around. The ball's fumbled, and it gets reversed as a touchdown. And I don't know. They were the broadcast was debating, well, if it's initially they said, well, it's fumbled, and you can't fumble forward on 4th down and the whole deal. So you're down at the 1, it's Jets ball, but they overturn it and basically say, nope, Hurts crossed the goal line, gets into the end zone. Weird play. That's all I have.
Good note.
Do you have anything on that?
No, not really.
I thought they were going to call him down.
I thought they were as well, but they didn't, and I don't think it was wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, then there was a whole bunch of field goals. I mean, for the Eagles, it was another one of those games where the heavy favorite is I thought they were going to pull away, right? And they still had it in their hand to at least trust their defense and say, hey, Zach Wilson, drive down the field. You go make a game-winning drive on us right now. And instead Hurts threw that terrible pick. And credit the Jets, man.